Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is the 18-wheelers across America. According to several reports and several dreams, the 18-wheelers are going to stop. Now, why is that important? Well, just about everything we get comes from 18-wheelers. Yes, I know some of it comes in from ports off the ocean. Yes, I agree. But what brings it to our house at the end of the day is 18-wheelers. Yes, I know your various trucks and things actually put it at the front door, actually bring it to the grocery store and things like that. But without 18-wheelers, America would grind to a stop. No, that's not going to happen. Well, I hope it's not going to happen either, and we're praying against that, which, by the way, which is the reason I'm going to ask you to join us at the Solemn September Assembly, and that is going to be September the 24th. It actually starts at 9:30 in the morning, but at 10:32, it's shofar blowing time. That is a sign of war. We're declaring war against the devil, against this nation. We're asking you to join us and watch us at prophecyclub.com. If you'd like to pray, we limit the prayers to no more than 5 minutes. In order to pray, you have to actually sign up. You have to register to do that because you got to be a panelist. It's a Zoom meeting. It's a virtual meeting. So you go to prophecyclub.com and you sign up or you register, and then you can be on the list up to 100 people standing in line praying. And last time we did that, well, for those of you new to us, we did the first Solemn September Assembly in 2020. We had about 400 people physically attend. We fasted and prayed for 48 hours straight. I mean, the microphone had someone standing behind it for 48 straight hours. We all fasted and prayed. We did it again in October 2020, again in September of 2021, and now we're doing it September, also on the Feast of Trumpets, which is the Gentiles' day. That's the day Jesus returns. That's the day that the tribulation starts, all on the Feast of Trumpets. And if the tribulation is going to start in 2022, and sometimes I think it is, but most of the time I think it's not going to, but if it is, it will start on that day. Matter of fact, probably at that moment. So if the tribulation starts in 2022, and I do not know that it does, but we would most likely hear a long, loud 1970s style horn honk, because Revelation 6:1 says, and I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder. And according to Ken Peters in his dream, he said it sounded like a 1970s car horn. It was long, it was loud, and every person on earth heard it. Okay, back to our topic today. 18-wheelers are about to be stopped. Now, when, I don't know, but apparently, from everything I get, it's soon. Sooner than later, possibly, and probably even this year, as in 2022. All right, so, first of all, how do I come up with this? On May 27th of 2016, in my prayer closet, I asked the Lord to show Pastor Masih, because I know he hears from God. This is a guy that has led over 350,000 Muslims in Pakistan to the Lord. He has a miracles ministry, works with us in the Sevenfold Miracle Crusades. So I said, Lord, would you speak to Pastor Masih tonight, and we show him an overview? Because it seems like these dreams and visions and angel visits that people are getting, and thank you very much for sending them to us, but it seems like they're always a bug's eye view. I need kind of a bird's eye view. So would you send to him a bird's eye view of what's coming? In other words, kind of an overview. Sure enough, the next morning he calls me. He said, I had a dream. I don't understand it. I said, tell me the dream. And as soon as he started telling me the dream, I said, I know exactly what it said. Well, of course, it was a dream that was delivered to me. But here's the thing. See, the Bible says, in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let a thing be established. So when I ask for him to get that dream, and he gets that dream, that's 2 witnesses confirming this is of God. Okay, so what did it say? First thing I saw, we were plowing. Very nice things are happening. Good things, like 7 years of plenty. Then he said, we came home and someone dropped off 2 children at my house. One girl thought that we would be the best people to take care of these people. They were scared that they would have no food. Now, that's where we are. We're on the precipice of this right now. They'd have no food. There was no food where they were living. Now, in America, we don't understand that. Nobody goes hungry in America. I mean, even homeless people can find free food. But what it's saying is The average person on the street is going to start going hungry. Hunger is about to arrive in America. Then the scene changed. He said he saw that you have to have a gun to survive. I was sitting there and someone came to my home to hurt these children. They said, let me talk to you. And I said, well, before I talk to you, let me go get my gun because I don't want to talk to you without my gun. So I got my gun, loaded it with 3 cartridges, and talked with them. There's been other people that have had dreams that have been shown where there. By the way, only one person has had any kind of warning saying that we should run to the hills. All of the other ones are all saying that there's going to be cities of refuge. And there's going to be places where people will kind of cordon off and they set up a perimeter and they have kind of their own law enforcement, and people coming in have to agree to abide by the 10 Commandments or they kick them out. There's been a lot of that, a lot of dreams and visions. They all say there's going to be cities of refuge. And there's going to be a time there's not going to be police. There's not going to be police or military protecting us. If we're going to have protection, it's going to be us protecting ourselves. So take it for what it's worth. First segment was good times. 7 years of plenty, that's past. The next time comes in is no food, and that's what we're talking about today. The third scene was you got to have a gun to survive. Now, I'm not suggesting that we hurt people. As a matter of fact, we Christians, we're not trying to hurt people or threaten them. We're trying to win their soul to the Lord. We're trying to witness to them. Then he saw that there was a main road in front of his house. He said, I saw like a herd of people walking down this road. Now, why are they walking? They're walking because we got hit with nuclear weapons. You remember Dmitri Duduman was told the fall of America will start with an internal revolution in America, started by the communists. Some of the people will start fighting against the government. The government will be busy with internal problems. Then from the oceans, Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America, Mexico, and 2 of the countries will attack and defeat America in 1 day and 1 hour, so great riches will come to naught. Then God will raise up China and Japan and many of the nations. They'll go against the Russians and defeat the Russians and back the Russians to the gates of Paris where they sign a peace treaty. But they make the Russians their leader. Under the leadership of the Russians, all the world goes down to attack little Israel. It's Armageddon. Israel can't counter the help of the Jews in America, so she cries for Messiah, and Jesus returns in the clouds and defeats the armies of the earth. Now, the key point there is they're walking down the road. Why are they walking down the road? Because when a nuclear device goes off within a certain radius, it fries all of the computer chips. And since 1985, all of our cars have lots and lots of computer chips. Matter of fact, these days, these cars, you don't even open it with a metal key. You just walk up to it and the car opens up, or you push a button on your keychain. So it's all electronics. It's all computer chips. So if a computer chip is hit by this EMP pulse, this electromagnetic pulse, it fries the computer chip and it's dead and it's not coming back to life. Meaning if you want that car to run again, you would have to replace all of the wiring in the car, which is a near impossible task. You'd have to take the whole car apart. That's the reason they see people walking down the road. I'll start that again. There was a main road by my house. I saw like a herd of people walking down this road. So many people, like a herd of cows or like a sheep. The road was packed. They were close together like sardines, meaning America got hit with nuclear bombs by Russia in a surprise nuclear attack, which is coming. And I want to believe it's more like 10 or 15 years off, but I'm afraid I have to believe it's more like a couple, 2, 3, I don't know, but close. I don't think it's over the horizon anymore. I think it's at the end of the block. So when Russia attacks in a surprise nuclear attack, that EMP fries all the computer chips. None of the cars start. The gas pumps won't pump gasoline out of the underground storage tanks. Everything is frozen. Now, the final vision was this. The tribulation. He said, I saw that they began to be chopped up. Only a few people, like 1 or 2 out of 1,000, were spared. I saw this chopping machine, some kind of machine chopping them in half, like chopping off their heads. I thought this must be the end, and only a few were spared and went into hiding. Now, the point that I'm trying to get to today is we are at a precipice of Americans about to be going without food. Let me back up. This is the point, okay? I'm trying to point out here that right now, the next thing in front of us is not the mark of the beast. It's not the Russians attacking the immediate thing in front of us is no food. Okay, so Terry Saka, why should people call Cornerstone assetmetals.com today?
Well, we've had large developments. We all do know about the war with Ukraine and Russia, but what's happening in Europe, beyond the fact that they have food rationing, energy rationing, and the Rhine River, which is the heartland of the industrial world of Europe, is now drying up to the point where the barges can no longer go through. And now the announcement just yesterday that Russia was going to eliminate all Nord Stream energy flows to Europe is huge. So what that's doing is it's making the euro currency crash way below parity, making the dollar really strong, which is giving you a tremendous buying opportunity because gold and silver is very cheap. But don't be fooled. It won't last long.
Cornerstone assetmetals.com. Call them, start some dialogue, open an account, and get yourself prepared for what is coming. So, News Punch says 4 natural gas facilities in the U.S. destroyed in freak accidents all in the last 2 weeks. Now, in yesterday's program, I only covered a few of them. There's like 115 different incidents where something doing with our food, chickens dying, turkeys dying, cows dying, and in this case, it says the explosion caused the fire was so large, it actually registered on the Richter scale. On Saturday, absolutely massive explosion at a very important natural gas facility. You may be saying, so how's natural gas have to do with our food? Well, from natural gas is where they get the fertilizer. These days, if you plant seeds into the soil doesn't have enough nutrients to make it grow. If you don't have fertilizer, don't count on getting much of a crop. The black smoke came billowing out, and it tells all of the details about how this fire. But the point is, this, in my opinion, is not an accident. You don't take out 115 different food processing plants all in 1 year. It's not an accident. Scale away, where they can destroy anything in the air, on the land, on the sea, under the sea, any place on the globe, anytime they want to, with very little residual. Very little. You can't even find, no, how did that happen? Matter of fact, out of the 115, I have not done the research, maybe one of you guys will, but out of the 115 different food processing plants, my guess is there were 0 arrests. It's all just natural causes or just a freak accident. Matter of fact, this is what it says here. Freak events, not freak. It's evil in high places with high technology taking away our food source. Why? Because we're trying to remove them from power, and we're in a power struggle. They're trying to get their man, the Antichrist, to sit on the throne, and we're trying to stop it. Primarily, America is trying to stop it. Now, let's go on. This is a picture of the interactive map of all the food processing plants. Now, if you're looking at the interactive version, you can just roll your mouse over any one of those, and it pops up and tells you where it was, when it was, how it happened, were there anybody hurt, what was it, turkeys killed, chickens killed, was it natural gas blown up, was it what was it? But the point is, look at that. Just take a second and look at that. Somebody in evil in high places is attacking our nation on purpose, trying to take our food away. You better be having some plans to have food. Railroads say higher volumes, labor constraints present obstacles to better service. Now, this is a lie. You might also notice the date. This was back in April. And it said it will likely take us a better half of the year to decongest the network. They're saying, the railroads, we're not able to move the fertilizer. We're not able to move the natural gas. We're not able to move these things like we're supposed to. Meaning food shortage. Hang on, there's more. This next guy is the chief executive officer for Pilot Flying J. He says, we operate the largest network of travel centers in the United States. We account for approximately 20% of the country's diesel supply and 30% of the diesel exhaust fluid supply. Now, hang on. What is the diesel exhaust fluid supply? I didn't know this. I had to learn this. So back in 2010, they started making all of the 18-wheelers with a requirement that it has to put this DEF, this diesel exhaust fluid, so that the diesels don't make that black smoke when they start off, so they're a little bit more efficient. They also put in all of the trucks a requirement. If you do not have DEF in your truck, it won't start. Now, There are some people have emailed me and said yes, but you can defeat that. Yeah, but the point is, how many people have defeated it? Then they passed laws and they said you have to have DEF or you cannot be on the roads. Well, all of that puts what? Into their possession, whoever makes the DEF has the ability to control all of the 18-wheelers, and that's a big point that I'm trying to make today. He who controls the DEF, if he can shut it off, he can turn off the 18-wheelers moving on American roads. What? You better listen. Not a joke. Let's go on. April 13th, we were informed by the Union Pacific that we were required to reduce shipments by 26%, then later by 50% or face embargoes. So this is a man-made shortage, and it's not just food, all kinds of shortage. I've had people say, yeah, they can't get oil for their truck. I've had people email me and say, yeah, I can't get repairs for my cars because there are all kinds of shortages. Collapse of the DEF, diesel exhaust fluid, supply will devastate the trucking industry. Now, this is back in May. Now, why do I say these back in April and May? Because I'm trying to say we don't have long. It's just around the corner. There are some people saying there is a big catastrophe about to hit America in September. Others say, well, it'll be before Halloween. I don't know. But anyway, it says the collapse of DEF supply will devastate the trucking industry, which supplies everything else, food, consumer goods, auto parts, and more. Big rig trucks must consistently traverse the country. What happens, though, when truckers can no longer get the diesel and diesel exhaust fluid that they need to keep their trucks running? Now let's jump to what the Lord is saying. Timothy Dixon, June 2 of 2022. He says, the Lord showed him that there are 5 plans that 2 men have put in place to try to destroy America. Now, you know, it's not just 2 men, it's really the devil. He said, I saw 5 beast plans created by 5 rich people, not 2, 5 people hidden but united in power. Their plan is to birth the beast. What's he saying? Their plan is to put the Antichrist on the throne. So he sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. That's their objective. That's what they want to do. And they want to require every knee to bow and every forehead or right hand to take the mark of the beast. That's where they're going. I'll start again. I saw 5 beast plans created by 5 rich people, but united in power. Their plan is to birth the beast by these 5 events, meaning by these 5 events, they plan to bring America to the point, and of course, if they do it for America, they got the rest of the world. They plan to bring America to the point to where every knee has to bend, every tongue has to confess that the Antichrist is God and take his mark. That's their objective. I was taken inside a meeting. The 5 were secretly discussing their 5 missions. This group of 5 were not Americans. They were all evil. The first one was saying disarming America. Their success depended on disarming America. Now, in all my 40-some-odd years of studying and teaching Bible prophecy, this is the first time I've ever got a dream or a vision from anyone, any kind of prophetic word says they're going to try to take the arms away from America. Now, we all know that they're trying, but in terms of prophetically, this is the first one. So we can see now with JB openly coming and attacking all of the assault, as they call them, assault weapons. And by the way, our founding fathers didn't want us to have weapons so that we can go deer hunting. Our founding fathers wanted us to have weapons so that evil in high places would not be able to take us over. Period. That's the reason we have it. So, disarming America. I believe that they are going to try it. I want to believe it's not going to be successful. I want to believe that they don't even get to try it. Let's go on, though. The second was the rise in fuel prices. Well, we already seen that, but what it's saying is you ain't seen nothing yet. It's going to get a lot worse. Can you imagine? $7, $8, $9, $10 a gallon? To cause recession to break and cripple America. Rise in fuel prices. Foreigners who came into America to destroy it. Open borders. We've seen that on the southern border. Do you think that these people coming into America are the most highly educated, the most skilled people, the good Christians that want to build our nation. They just want to come into America to build our nation. No, they openly say we can't get a job in another country. Well, look, if you can't get a job in Mexico, if you can't get a job in these other countries where the skill level is much lower, what makes you think you're going to get a job in America where the skill level, we have to have more skill, okay? Maybe you're a plumber down in Mexico, but you ain't a plumber, you come to America. Maybe you're an electrician in Mexico, but you're not an electrician when you come to America. You see what I'm saying? So what is coming in my opinion, are people, well, it would be very easy for bad people to start handing them cell phones and say, come on in. But when that cell phone rings and we tell you where to show up, when we hand you a gun, we tell you to go do something, go blow something up, you better do it. All of a sudden, out of these people, millions have come in now, could be an invading army within our borders. So I believe that's the real objective. Third, our food supply, to cripple our nation, shutting down our food industry, sabotaging our food deliberately to weaken us so we cannot withstand them and conquer America. Think about this. I mean, have you ever gone without food? I mean, like you couldn't get food anyplace. I mean, you couldn't get food. Like I said, even the homeless can find food in America. It's coming. That's one of our big fears in America. And that's the reason I suggest you go to josephkitchen.com. The fourth, to bring war to America to defeat us. God is not going to let us stand. He is going to overthrow this wicked bunch. They're going to see the same God that fought against them in the days of Egypt will fight against them now. Yes, I do believe that God is going to overthrow a lot of their plans. But at the end of the day, Revelation 18 still comes to pass. And that says, she'd become a habitation of devils, a hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. She saith in her heart, I said a queen, and shall not see, and I'm no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death, mourning, and famine. And she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. Because America, that used to be a Christian nation, has embarrassed God by walking away from Christ, sticking their finger in his eye, and turning their back on him, when we are supposed to be the Christian nation that holds up the wall, and we're not. Fifth, truckers. Here's the point of today's broadcast. Truckers. Truckers will be squeezed out of the business due to high operating costs, all deliberately being done to shut down our country. There will come a famine for truck drivers, causing other shortages. How many times we've got to say this before you can really see it? Well, hopefully you're seeing it. Here's the big point. Pastor Massey called me 6/28 of 2022. The night before, I had once again, now this is not the same one, I once again asked the Lord to speak to Pastor Massey and tell him about what's coming. And this is what he called. So he called the next morning and he said, I had a dream last night. I don't exactly understand it. Well, it wasn't for him. It was for me. He says, but Joseph came to me. And I said, Joseph and the Pharaoh Joseph? He said, yes. Joseph came to me in the night and gave me a dream. And he said, first of all, I saw my father and he told me to go get wheat. When I went to get the wheat, there was no more wheat. There's going to be a food shortage, he was told. I was impressed that I should go get a bag of wheat and a grinder for it. That's what Joseph Kitchen offers. Wheat and a grinder in a way to make bread out of wheat berries. I saw all the 18-wheeler trucks are stopped. Now, that's the point. So if the 18-wheelers stop, do you have food to stay inside your four walls of your home for, say, a year? Do you have that? Do you have food? Do you have water? Do you have everything it takes? I mean, so what happens if they declare martial law and they say you cannot leave your home? Or let's say there's another pandemic and you cannot leave your home. Or there's some other reason. Do you have food and water? Do you have a water filter, Berkey water filter? You can get that at prophecyclub.com. If you don't have that, I'm telling you, the Lord is warning us, if we can listen. This is not me saying this. I'm not cooking this stuff up. And it's not just one or two people. I've got 14 different people that have had dreams or visions showing about some kind of a food shortage. So what he's saying is there's going to be a shortage of wheat, and the 18-wheelers are going to stop. Headline, People are going to absolutely go insane when food prices double or triple from current levels. He says the cost of food skyrockets. A very large degree, we are still eating the food that was grown in 2021. Far less food, however, has been grown in 2022 than originally projected. Droughts are absolutely devastating crops in the United States and Europe. Then we're talking about war, the flow of agricultural goods, fertilizers, they've all quadrupled in price. And 2023, there's going to be a lot less food to go around, and we're all going to pay a lot more for it. I would suggest you go to josephskitchen.com. Get you a machine package. That's all the wherewithal you need to make the bread, and then get you at least enough food to last a year. josephskitchen.com. Use the promo code Prophecy Club. Let's talk about Joseph Kitchen. I actually cooked this loaf of bread you're seeing here. Takes me about 10 minutes to put the ingredients together, put it into a bread machine, push a button, 2 hours, 20 minutes later, I get a loaf of bread out like that. Now, if you cut that loaf of bread that weighs about 3 pounds, the loaves you get in the store have most of the good stuff removed. The loaves you get in the store are about a pound. That's 3 pounds because it's got the good stuff still in it. Cut that into 14 slices. And if I eat a slice in the morning and the afternoon, I'm satisfied. So on that basis, one loaf can sustain, I didn't say it's everything we want, can sustain one person for a week. Based upon that, it'll get you excellent nutrition. It tastes good, long storage life, 10 minutes to combine the ingredients, 2 hours, 20 minutes to make it. Other wheat that you order arrives in paper bags, which means bugs, rice, humidity can get a hold of it and ruin it. But at Joseph Kitchen, they send it out in 100 mil thick buckets. Gives you long shelf life. It's stackable. The nitrogen infuses that hopefully gives it much longer shelf life, kills bugs and things like that. Easily resealable. Keep in a climate-controlled area. And they have it in stock. This is a picture, an actual picture of part of the warehouse. Here's another picture of these. Actually, each one of those boxes holds 2,500 pounds of wheat. And I think they've got 54 of those boxes, a bunch of them. So Joseph's Kitchen can ship it to you right now. You go to most of these places, they say out of stock. So here's what you want to do. Everybody needs to get a machine package. These are the things that you need to grind the wheat berries. Put them into a grinder. 30 seconds later, you have flour. You put that into the bread machine along with 6 other ingredients. Push about 2 hours, 20 minutes later, you have a nice hot loaf of whole wheat bread. Then you have to decide how much food you want. You want food 2 people 1 year, 4 people 1 year, 6 people 1 year. And if you want to make certain you have it when the electricity goes down, you can also get yourself a solar generator, all at josephskitchen.com. josephskitchen.com.